Today I'm going to be trying out this 8-inch trench bucket that I purchased for my Chinese Mini Excavator. I have some electrical line that I need to run from our tiny home all the way to the meter pole. So I'm going to run a trench through there, and I didn't want to use the, I think, 16-inch bucket that comes with it. I got this little 8-inch trench bucket. Should make a nice, clean, small trench. It's underground rated wire, so I'm just going to dig the trench, toss it in, cover it up. Let's see how well this thing does. Now this bucket I bought online. It does come with these two bolts in it. So the pins for this, the bolt type pins it came with, and then it came with the teeth and the cutting edges that you see there. So everything that you see here came with this. I'll put a link down in the description of where I found this, and to maybe some other places you can probably find this exact same thing, hopefully for the best price. So now I'm gonna go ahead, take the pins out of my existing bucket that's on my excavator now and put this one on and go test it out. So if you've never switched the bucket on your Chinese Mini Excavator, you're gonna have, these two brackets here. You don't have to mess with these two bolts. You just have to mess with, of course, the bolts that are part of the bucket. These are the bolts that I took off of here, and I don't remember, these maybe 31 millimeter. I'm not sure if you know exactly the size of this nut, even the details about the bolt and everything, if you'll put that down in the comments so we have that available, but I don't remember what it is right offhand. I'll update the description of the video when I find out exactly what size these are. But anyways, you take these out. On the bucket that mine came with, it has the locking type of hole here where you can just put this in. You don't have to have another tool. I usually use what I use on most of my bigger equipment, and that is my trusty 24-inch adjustable wrench here. I'll put a link to this down also in the description, because I have two of these, and these things I use almost every time I'm out here. I always find something I have to use these for. And then I have this service wrench here. It's not the right size because it's not metric, but this is 1 3/8. The next size down is too small. This one's just slightly too big, but it's enough to hold the other side if I need it to do that. It's also not as bulky as my 24-inch adjustable wrenches, so I just use this to take the nut the rest of the way off. They are thread lock with that little plastic gasket on the inside, so they're not super easy to just twist by hand. So you want something like this to make them a lot easier to get off. But I'm gonna switch this bucket now with my other bucket so we can get out there and start digging. So just like the other bucket, this does have it where it locks in the head of the bolt. So you only have to have, one wrench on the other side. So you get this, push them in, get them in there nice and snug like they're supposed to be. And then, tighten these down. But you don't have to tighten these down. It's not like you're, bolting it on there where these can't move. You just have to be on there snug enough where these bolts won't come off, where the nuts won't rattle themselves off. So I just put these on there snug, but not enough to where it's trying to tighten on to the other bushings and everything. You don't want it wearing out. So this is just to hold the bucket on. So now that I have this thing on, let's go see how well it digs that little trench. So yeah, I'd say the 8-inch bucket does so much better when you're trenching than a wide bucket. One, not only does it do a thin, small trench like this, that's one point. But the second point is it's about half the size of the other bucket. So you get to put all that power down into that smaller, thinner space, right? So instead of all the power getting pushed in 16 inches, what the regular bucket is, you're now pushing it in an 8-inch area. So you're really doubling the down pressure and the brake pressure that you have into the dirt. And I mean, it just digs, no problem. I know this is just clay, but this clay is actually pretty hard to dig in because it gets wet and sticky, and it's like slicing really thick cheese. So it actually does take a lot of power to cut through, but that 8-inch bucket just does it. So if you have one of these machines like this right here, I definitely recommend getting an 8-inch bucket if you're gonna do trenching, because it works out awesome. All right, I hope that information was helpful. Again, I'm gonna put the links to the bucket and everything else down in the description, so that way you'll have it. And also, if you have information about this, you have the 8-inch bucket, or other trenching ideas, whatever, just put those down in the comments and share those with everybody. And thank y'all very much for watching. Y'all take care.